Hey guys, so I thought I would pop on here really quick and just kind of tell you a story about a client's issue that we had. So I get a call and the client tells me that she's getting married and her fiance got divorced in Oklahoma and then moved to the Denver area and bought a piece of property there, and they did not ever they were never encouraged to get a quit claim deed for her to sign, nor to get her off the mortgage. But the decree stated that she was not to get any of the equity in the house. It was all going to the husband. So, with that being said, there's a few pitfalls in that. So, the disadvantages for the party that's staying on the mortgage and doesn't live there is they're still responsible for it. Their credit is still going to get trashed if the husband makes late payments or files bankruptcy or forecloses. She's attached to that mortgage. So that's a huge detriment. Not to mention the fact if she moved on after the divorce and say wanted to buy a house of her own, and her debt to income ratio is tied up because she's on that mortgage. So either she can't qualify at all or she can't qualify for the kind of house that she would probably want to buy. So that's an issue. But the biggest one is being vulnerable, susceptible to your credit getting trashed, leaving yourself responsible legally on that mortgage. So the title issue as well. When I got divorced years ago, my ex-husband signed a quitclaim deed and I was entitled to all the proceeds. I was keeping the home. So that worked well. And then I refinanced, which is what you should do, because he didn't have marital interest anymore. It was in the decree. I refinanced and there was a quitclaim deed, so I was covered. So this guy, we'll call him George, he goes to Colorado and he's selling their house. Well, the real estate agent did not thoroughly look at the property profile and the title work to notice that, or didn't even dig and ask enough questions, that the wife was still on the loan, as well as the title. So the George, the guy, he's divorced, he's been divorced 2 years. He sells his house and he has been trucking right along. They're doing inspections, they're doing appraisal, they're getting ready to close, everything's going smoothly. But the real estate agent didn't notice that the wife needed to sign all these documents. She has interest in the property. She's on the loan, she's on the title. So I got a call, from George's fiance at the time, and I said, well, you can have the title company look at it and see if they would take the deed or the decree in lieu of a deed. The decree stated that husband got all the proceeds. The house was 100% his. The title company would not take that. So he almost lost the buyer over this situation because he needed to find the wife, or the ex-wife, and hadn't been in touch with her for almost 2 years. No one really knew where she was. She wasn't close-knit, I guess, with her family. No one had really talked to her. It was just kind of an MIA situation. After a lot of stress and legwork, they found her. I'm getting like, I don't know, my throat is like swelling up just thinking about what this woman did. She said, sure, I'll sign the papers so that you can close on the house, but I want $100,000 for my signature. So of course that's not feasible, and that's not cool either. So the guy George, he went back to the title company and said, this is what we're dealing with. She's trying to extort me, threatening me, that she won't sign the papers unless she's monetarily rewarded and made whole, I guess is kind of the way she put it. So he had to file for quiet title, which can take some time when you have somebody that you can't find, or there's a situation like this where they're refusing to sign, or they're committing extortion, threatening you not to sign the papers. So the moral of this story is the real estate agent needs to ask a lot of questions, dig really deep, find out if people have second mortgages, find out who is on the loan. A lot of people don't know, to be honest. If you bought a house 10 or 15 years ago, you may not realize that mom was staying home at the time, so the wife wasn't on the loan, but technically, when you're married in Oklahoma, even if you're not on the title, both spouses have to sign the deed of sale on closing day. So there's a lot of things that you just don't think about, especially when you don't sell real estate every day, and especially when you don't get divorced every day. So another thing is hire a competent attorney. So he admittedly just did an uncontested, like $500, kind of attorney type fee. It wasn't a thorough, really like pay a retainer and somebody looks over it with a fine tooth comb. So in that case, it ended up costing him a lot more time, stress, and heartache than from the beginning. If he would have spent just a little bit more money, he could have safeguarded himself. And, he's lucky his credit didn't get completely trashed, but thankfully it didn't. And he finally got that house sold and didn't lose the buyer. So that was a miracle. But those are just some of the landmines and pitfalls that kind of happen. And real estate's not always happy. I deal with divorces in our